Karen Reed is accused of hitting her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, with her car and then leaving him to die in the snow.
Part of this case against Karen Reed involves what she said, what she was heard saying, so I want to look at what she said and to whom she said it. Is there a plausible reason for witnesses hearing her say, "I hit him, I hit him"? If you watched my short video on this, you may already know where I'm going with this. If you haven't, let me play a bit, as I made a comment on STS when it was read in his live coverage of this case. Then I want to explain how I came to this plausible explanation.
Anybody see anything? Did anybody, what happened? And there was one individual that replied several times, "I hit him, I hit him."
Now, this is an interesting question. This is something that the defense should use. Interesting comment, I should say. Did Karen Reed mean she hit him when she tried to wake him up, like slapping him to try to wake him up? Very interesting. Now, Fallon Jackson was able to prove that. I would say, interesting. I never thought of that, but that has not come up yet. Legal-minded friends, Karen Cole, she's got a good legal mind.
Plus, we're going to listen to a clip that the defense introduces that challenges our hearing. So I better give you an overview for those of you who have not seen my first video on this case. John O'Keefe died on the 29th of January 2022 of blood force injuries to his head and hypothermia, and the autopsy was completed 2 days later and did not find any obvious signs of a fight or altercation. Karen Reed, his girlfriend, was arrested 2 days after the autopsy. She was indicted by the grand jury for second-degree murder, manslaughter while under the influence of alcohol, leaving the scene causing death. So definitely go check out my other video if you want to know a little bit more about this case, because we're going to jump right in. And I want you to hear a police dash cam, what it picked up Karen Reed saying. Now, it's really hard to hear, but if I heard it, it will be interesting if you hear it. So us humans hear at a range of about 0 to 120 to 130 decibels. This room that I'm just going to let you listen to now just has a clock in it. So let's look at what it reads on the sound meter. So the sound meter picked up the ticking of the clock, which you can see it going up and down from about 41 to 43. But I cannot hear it, can you? What is even more amazing is that the decibel range of our furry babies can hear from -5 to -15 decibels, meaning they can hear sounds that are not loud enough for us to hear. And I'm going to leave you with this link, as it is a free sound meter that you can download. So check out that link in the description area. How cool is that? So are you ready for the clip the defense played in the Karen Reed trial? And listen closely at the end and see if you can hear what the judge says.
Do the best I can to raise the volume. And Officer Sheriff, I want to focus your attention, if you wouldn't mind, on 9 seconds after you say what happened. Just count in your head and listen very, very carefully to the woman's voice that responds to what she says. Go ahead. Pause it. Very. Turn the volume up one more time right at that moment. Listen for a woman's voice just under.
I'm hearing what you're saying.
Sorry. I was asking Officer Seraph, please listen to, there's a din of noise, obviously, road noise, wind noise, etc. It's your dash cam the audio from your dash cam. Once you close the door, listen very carefully about 9 seconds after you say what happened for a woman's voice and see if you can make out what that voice says. Sure. Stop. Did you hear? I left him and he never came home.
I couldn't understand what they were saying.
You couldn't understand that?
No.
Do you want to hear it one more time?
No.
I don't think it.
No.
Why is this important? Because I'm sure the jury must have had a hard time hearing it if the court was getting annoyed. So I'm going to play this sound meter along with it, and so we can see where it goes to when the attorney tells us that Karen is speaking.
Officer Seraph, please listen to, there's a din of noise, obviously road noise, wind noise, etc. It's your dash cam, the audio from your dash cam. Once you close the door, listen very carefully about 9 seconds after you say what happened for a woman's voice and see if you can make out what that voice says. Sure. Stop. Did you hear? I left him and he never came home.
I couldn't understand what they were saying.
You couldn't understand that?
No.
Do you want to hear it one more time?
No.
I don't think it.
No.
So, what did you hear? Let me know in the chat. Next, we're going to listen to testimony from the first paramedic on the scene, who heard Karen Reed say, I hit him several times. Let's have a listen.
Was able to ask, did anybody see anything? Did anybody, what happened? And there was one individual that replied several times, I hit him.
And did you know that individual at that time?
I did not.
Can you describe the individual that said that?
I would describe her as mid-40s, average build, average height. And the other two, very similar.
And with reference to that statement of I hit him, is that something that she said once or more than once or something?
It was several times.
And as far as the tone or demeanor, how loudly was this being said?
As previously stated, they seemed to be erratic. There was a lot going on in that scene. It did seem to be said over and over and at varying volumes. And then there was just a lot of, everybody appeared to be quite flustered.
And the individual, one of the three females that said that, what, if any, observations did you make as to her face or anything?
The individual that said, I hit him, appeared to have some blood on her face, presumably for attempting CPR prior to our arrival.
And you say presumably attempting CPR. When you first arrived at Mr. O'Keefe, what, if anything, did you observe any of the females doing with reference to Mr. O'Keefe? Mr.
O'Keefe was not being touched by any individual when I first got to him. That whole group was kind of pacing around, lack of a better term, kind of running around in circles. But Mr. O'Keefe was not being, there was no interventions being done to Mr. O'Keefe when I got to him.
Okay, so that was the prosecutor on direct with paramedic Timothy Nuttall. When he arrives on the scene, he asks, did anyone see anything? What happened? He describes the woman he heard saying, I hit him several times. Now let's hear Karen Reed's attorney on cross. Before I play that clip, the background is at this time, remember, the paramedic is attempting to get patient information about John O'Keefe. Nobody has testified or suggested John O'Keefe was hit by a vehicle at this time. We find out later in the trial that the investigating officer called into dispatch. He doesn't know if John O'Keefe was in a fight. So let's listen to the cross-examination by the defense.
You claim to have heard the statement, I hit him,
Yes.
several times from the woman with blood on her face.
Correct.
You indicated that she was erratic,
Correct.
hysterical.
Correct.
You said, for lack of a better term, running around in circles.
Yes.
She seemed despondent or distraught,
Very distraught.
very upset.
Yes.
Was she saying anything else that you recall?
To me, I heard I hit him, and then I went back, obviously continuing on patient care, focusing on patient care.
Did you hear her say, could I have hit him?
I heard I hit him.
That's what you believe at this point?
That's what I heard.
Okay. Where exactly were you?
I was crouched at the head of Mr. O'Keefe.
Okay. You were asked that exact question at the grand jury, correct? To describe where you were and who was doing what?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay. You were asked a question when you spoke to her and she said, I hit him. Were you with the other representatives, sir, there at the time? Were there other people around you? You remember being asked that question by a grand juror?
I don't recall.
Do you remember answering, no, there were other people around me. I had paramedics Flamati with me. I believe firefighter Kelly was there as well.
Correct. So the three of us were all providing patient care around Mr. O'Keefe.
And you indicated that we were all there together. You were kneeling and you were doing the airway while you called him Tony.
Yes, that's Anthony Tony, yes.
All right. He was doing the CPR, correct?
Correct.
And it's absolutely clear in your mind that when that statement was made, you were knelt down over Mr. O'Keefe. Flamati was doing CPR. Kelly was with you guys. And you posed the question to her, do you know him? Correct?
Correct.
Correct. So I want to make sure I understand this. You said, as you're knelt down, do you know him? Directly to the female. And she answered your question with, I hit him.
Yes.
But that's not what you told Trooper Proctor in a February 8th interview.
I don't recall what I told Trooper Proctor.
Let's start at the beginning. Do you remember having a conversation with Trooper Proctor on February 8th?
I do.
That was obviously much closer in time than your grand jury testimony, correct?
Correct.
And years closer in time than your testimony now.
Correct.
Do you recall on February 8th telling Trooper Proctor that while you were rendering aid, you heard Karen say, I hit him, to another female on the scene?
To another female, as I stated, I heard several times I hit him. In terms of who that was directed towards, I mean, again, focused on patient care.
Understood. My question was a little bit different. Do you recall telling Trooper Proctor specifically that while you were rendering aid, you heard Karen say, I hit him, to another female on the scene, and the other female told Karen to be quiet?
I do recall that.
Okay. That's not what you testified to today, though.
Okay.
Matter of fact, that story has changed to you posed a question, and she answered your question, correct?
Correct.
So which is it?
So when ventilating a patient, typically, that is also used to gather information from bystanders, because as I'm ventilating, I can real quick look around. Do you know this individual? Do you know anything about this individual? That's fairly typical for any scenario in this. It's a very quick information gathering strategy.
But you'll agree that your testimony today has changed from what it was from your statement to Trooper Proctor on February 8th.
I don't know if it would so much say change, sir. To be honest, I don't fully recall that meeting with Mr. Proctor.
I'm sorry.
I remember meeting with him. However, I don't fully remember what was discussed.
So it's fair to say that your memory is a little bit faulty as it pertains to that time frame.
Absolutely.
Okay. When you went to the hospital with the patient, did you ever inform any of the doctors or nurses or medical professionals at the hospital that you had heard a female claim to have hit John O'Keefe, and that's the reason for his injuries?
I did not give the report to the hospital.
So the answer to that is no.
No.
You did not. As a first responder and a medical professional yourself, obviously you know that the cause and manner of the victim's injuries are incredibly important as it pertains to assessing how to treat that patient.
Correct.
Once you got back to the station and to take a breath, did you write any report?
I did not. No, I did not write the patient care report.
So you didn't write a report, just to finish my question, you didn't write a report that said, by the way, while I was out at the scene, I heard a female say, I hit him, and that's the cause and manner of the injuries.
Not to my knowledge.
Well, you would know if you wrote a report that said that.
Correct.
And you did not.
I did not write the patient care report.
Okay. At any time that day or any day subsequent thereto, did you contact the Canton Police Department, which were the first responders?
I did not.
So let me finish my question. And say, by the way, just so you know, I heard this woman say I hit him out of the scene.
I did not.
Did you ever, on that day or any day subsequent thereto, contact the Massachusetts State Police and say, I heard this person say I hit him?
I did not.
So the first time you ever repeated that statement was on February 8th with Trooper Proctor.
Correct.
And by the time we've come full circle to today, that statement has now pivoted.
In terms,
You didn't overhear the person say it to a female. Now, she's talking directly to you now.
she spoke directly to me, yes.
Have you, just one last point, you've obviously noted that this case has gotten an enormous amount of notoriety, correct?
Correct.
How many times would you say that you've discussed this case and this incident with your fellow firefighters?
It's brought up around the station semi-frequently. However, being involved in it, we try to stay clear of it just because we are involved in it.
So the answer is, there have been many discussions.
Yes,
Probably daily.
frequently.
Have any of those discussions helped you with what you earlier described as a little bit of a faulty memory around that time frame?
Objection.
He can have that. Have they?
Repeat the question for me, sir.
Sure. Have any of those discussions helped you with what you earlier described as a little bit of a faulty memory?
The memories that I have and the ones that I'm bringing up, I don't believe that they've changed. You know, I played them over in my head to the best of my ability, and I don't believe my story is swayed. If they've been enunciated incorrectly on my part, it wasn't intentional.
Understood.
Yeah.
And nobody's casting aspersions. Memory's a funny thing. So your memory is as good about that as it is about that winter coat.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Cross did establish that the paramedic has changed his original testimony from he heard a woman saying, "I hit him several times," to a woman was directly responding to him. He named her. He said Karen originally, and it was responding to his question, does anyone know him? Does anyone know what happened? So that's pretty significant because we've got to take it in context now. And we'll talk about that in a bit. I believe Karen Reid has not denied making these utterances. I guess the question is, were they questions like, I hit him? Or were they, I hit him? So if you want to hear a different opinion, you can go watch Dr. G as he does an analysis on his YouTube regarding that interview that Karen Reid did. And we know Karen Reid was hysterical because the police issued a Section 12 and they called the paramedics back to take Karen to the hospital to get her checked out. They do this in England as well. It's I believe it's under a Section 36 where they believe the person, could be a harm to themselves or to others. And in the UK, they do not need a warrant to do that. And if they believe, just having someone stay with you would do the job, then they can do that as well. Or they can bring you somewhere safe until you've, calmed down. So we're going to hear from another paramedic, Katie McLaughlin, being cross-examined by the defense. Let's have a listen.
The female that was standing to your left?
No.
You're aware that the female that was standing to your left reported the exact same statement?
No.
Are you aware that the female standing to your left reported that exact same statement as, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Did I hit him?
No, I'm not aware of that.
You then went back to the ambulance after you heard that statement that you believed you heard my client state.
Yes.
You opened the ambulance door, correct?
Yes.
That was the back door?
The side door.
The side door. And there were two firefighter paramedics in that ambulance at the time, correct?
I believe there were more than two at that time.
Two of them included firefighter Nuttall and firefighter Flamati.
Yes.
And at that point, you told them what you believed you had just heard.
So I went into the back of the ambulance. I said, this is his name. This is his date of birth. She says he doesn't have any medical history or allergies, doesn't take daily medications. And then I said, she's saying I hit him. And firefighter Nuttall motioned to his face and said something.
Objection, Your Honor.
Ask another question.
So the answer to my question is, yes, you told in front of Flamati and Nuttall the phrase, I hit him.
Yes.
You write that in any report?
I don't write a report in this scenario of my job.
Let her finish the answer, please.
So there are two people that will write reports in my department on a call, one being the lead paramedic and the other being the officer who's on scene. So those are the people that write reports, and I was neither of those, so I did not write that in a report.
Okay.
That's correct.
So let me ask the question again. You didn't write it in any report?
No.
You didn't write it in any notes?
No.
You didn't document that statement in any way whatsoever, correct?
Other than my interview with Proctor and my subsequent testimony.
You didn't document that statement in any way yourself, did you?
No.
Since January 30th, in that conversation that we just talked about with Trooper Proctor, your statement has evolved. Is that right?
I don't know how to answer that.
You testified yesterday to something quite different.
Not quite different.
than what you testified, I'm sorry, than what you stated to Trooper Proctor.
Respectfully, I think my testimony has been pretty consistent.
You testified to something yesterday quite different in context than what you told Trooper Proctor. Isn't that right?
I don't know that that's right.
Well, you told Trooper Proctor, Karen Reed looked at a female standing to your left, said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Right?
Yes.
Yesterday, you told these jurors that Karen Reed said, I hit him, and an officer said, you what? And she repeated, I hit him, and the officer immediately turned and went to find another sergeant. Is that right or no? Yes or no?
No, there was more to that testimony.
That's not what you said yesterday?
I think I said more than that, than what you just repeated.
Is what I said consistent with what you said yesterday? There's a lot of things that you said. More of them. I'm asking, is that the sum and substance of what you told these jurors yesterday?
Yes.
So you would agree that from that time till yesterday, your story has evolved. It's changed.
Would I agree with that?
No.
I don't know that I agree with that.
You think the story that you told Trooper Proctor is exactly the same?
I understand what you're saying. So I understand what you're saying.
So has your story evolved?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. May I, Your Honor?
Yes.
In fact, what you told Trooper Proctor was, quote, Karen then turned to her friend and stated, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. End quote. Correct?
Okay.
Is that yes?
Yes. If you're saying that's in quotation marks in that, then yes.
That's what's in the report.
Okay.
And you don't have to agree with me. I'm asking yes or no questions. Not okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So in fact, what you told Trooper Proctor was that Karen Reed looked at the female to your left and said 4 times, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Correct?
Yes.
And have you since learned the name or identity of the female that was standing to your left?
No.
Well, I think the defense did a very good job on, establishing that not everyone heard the same thing or to whom Karen said the utterance to. They also established that, they hadn't told the police. So, was that because, they weren't concerned that it was a statement, of guilt. However, that doesn't surprise me, as paramedics are there to save lives, not, catch criminals. Plus, it was really windy and blizzard situation. So, as we discovered with our little test with the decibels, you need good conditions to be able to hear, hear things. So, is it unusual that they all heard something different or a variation of it? So the other thing that happened with this witness is, which I didn't take a lot of credence with because I thought she was very credible, but the defense did establish that she was an acquaintance with one of the home, where the party took place. She knew that family and had been to a baby shower and had been to the beach a long time ago. So I don't really think that is, important, because I thought she was credible and she was just telling what she heard. And I think, stories do evolve as time. Sometimes you remember more and you can clarify, what you mean. But it all happens to be after they were interviewed by the detective that they are questioning has maybe set up Karen Reed. So I think that's where the concern is. What's your thoughts? By leaving a comment, you may help someone else that will read your comment. And of course, I love to read all comments. Please like this video if you like this kind of content. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you want to be notified when I'm going live or upload another video. I'm Karen Cole from Legal Minded Friends. Information is power, meaning if you know something, you can make decisions that are right for you.